just a second. You. Good to see everybody. Please share and invite. And then we'll get started in just a moment. Hey, Chezzy, good to see you. Hey, Ryan. Good day, Aussie. Aussie Nick. Good day. Everybody. Hey, Lori, good to see you. Hey, Danielle. Danelle. Hey, Harley guy. My goodness, is that you? Ah, my gosh. You made it. Yay, Danielle. Good, good, good. Good morning, Susan. Can barely. I think maybe only a couple couldn't hear me, so hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm going to read from you Proverbs chapter 15, and then we'll get going. Hello, demented foolishness. These others' instructions, but he who receives correction is prudent. In the house of the righteous there is much treasure, but in revenue of the wicked, trouble. All right. All right. So I hope you thought I would see Gracie wanting to play ball or anything else, and so she is doing that. So it's just great to see. Hello, we're not staying as I have no sound. Kim said. Oh my goodness, Kim, why don't you go out and come back in? Hey, Michael, because everybody else I think has sound. Somebody are hearing things low, but most of you have sound. We have a lot to talk about today. Not a show to miss, but then again, I don't think that really any show is because there's so much. Hey, Liz, and we'll get started here. I want to bring something up for you and then start talking about it if you can here. This is my article today. Hello, Nurse Conrad. My article today is about the Trump administration coming out yesterday and saying that they want to get rid of the Flores settlement. Basically, they announced that they want to terminate it regarding how long that unaccompanied and accompanied minors can stay in detention. And of course, that set off a firestorm of the left coming out and saying, oh my gosh, you're keeping these kids in cages. I guess they would prefer that they're turned down and handed over to pedophiles like they did under the Obama administration, maybe intentionally, maybe not intentionally, but that's the end result under the Obama administration, that a lot of kids ended up with human traffickers, pedophiles, and such. Hey, Robin, good to see you. So, right now, you can't hold them longer than 20 days in an unlicensed facility. Now, we've been trying in the Trump administration to get a licensed facilities built, but Congress, I know this is going to surprise you, Congress won't give the Trump administration any money to build any licensed facilities. Because if you have licensed facilities, according to a 2015 ruling from Judge Dolly M.G., can you imagine? Would you like your name to be Dolly M.G.? Uh, According to her ruling, you can't have them more than 20 days in an unlicensed facility, but you can possibly if you have a licensed facility. Good morning, Marlene. So, like I said, it sort of set off a firestorm of people coming out and saying different things about how they didn't like what was going on. One of them, per se, one of them was Benny Thompson. Benny Thompson is basically a Democrat who was one of the ones that came out and he said the Trump administration has managed to find a new low in its continued despicable treatment of migrant children. Terminating the Flores settlement is illegal and goes against our long-standing American values about the treatment of children. Hey, Chezzy. So, once again, you've got the Democrats coming out and they speaking out really quickly because why is that? Because they want to take this all the way to the Supreme Court, I suppose, if they get the opportunity to do so. And as it looks, that's probably what's going to happen. Now, there's some other people came out and talked about this. The Daily Beast, Scott Bixby, says he can do better. Yeah, I know, Danielle. He can do better. What he can do is just not do anything at all, and they think that's better. Scott Bixby said the proposed termination of the Flores Agreement is President Trump's most aggressive and most legally suspect attempt to circumvent legal protections for undocumented children since his disastrous family separation policy. Yeah, right. Uh, so, so the Daily Beast spoke out, always wanting to hear the Daily Beast, right? And like we care what they say. Somebody else spoke out. Let me get that for you, and that would be the Sisters of Mercy. Now, who are the Sisters of Mercy? Well, they claim to be a Catholic organization that supports refugees because, well, just because. They say they're women of faith who commit our lives to God and our resources to serve, advocate, and pray for those in need. And they said today the Trump administration effectively announced that they'd like to be able to keep children in cages forever. I know, just vomited in your mouth, Michael said. Ah, my gosh. Hey, Lori. Yeah, Harley said, Harley Guy said the madness continues. Lori said the mayor of Dearborn, Michigan has decided his city is not to work with ICE. Why don't they offer to take them in? Well, that's the thing, Harley. I think maybe they did take them in. Robin can't get on Periscope. Cable Guy is working. Well, at least you're on YouTube. That's good. So anyway, these people could be getting upwards of $2,000 per person, and that's why they want to take them in. And of course, it doesn't say that in the article or anywhere else I could find, because everybody who has wants a piece of the pie, the money pie, is usually the ones that are going to speak out. Now, the ACLU has already spoken out, and the ACLU is going to sue because that's what they do best. That's what they live for each and every day. So expect that to come. Now, that what they said is the government should not be jailing kids and certainly shouldn't be seeking to put more kids in jail for longer. This is yet another cruel attack on children who this administration has targeted again and again with its anti-immigrant policies. Congress must not fund this. Well, so far the ACLU has gotten their way because, as I said, Congress isn't funding anything. So there can't be any licensed facilities. They don't want these kids moved. They just want these kids released. That's what they want. Children in cages forever. Where were these Sisters of Mercy when Obama built those cages? Yeah. Well, see, Aussie Nick, they were most likely, hey, Yuri, most likely they were getting money. And when you're getting money, you're certainly not going to talk about anything, like speaking out against that, right? You're not going to say anything. So, hey, Alan. So they kept quiet and kept getting their $2,000 per person, no doubt. Why doesn't the sisters stop abortion if they're really concerned about kids? Good point, Rick. Tim said Jesuits and Sisters of Mercy are communist. Tim on Facebook said that. Yeah, probably true, Tim. The ACLU is and always has been against the ordinary citizen. They pretty much have been against the ordinary citizen because that's just who they are. They don't care about anybody except the far left, it seems, progressives. Occasionally they will come out and speak out for somebody else, but it's very, very rare that ever happens. Now we have oh gosh, you'll love this, and I know you've been waiting for this, but we have Nancy, who also tweeted about this. Nancy, Grateful Michael says illegal aliens should not be breaking the laws of another country while endangering their children. Yeah, that's true. If that were Americans doing that to their own children, the children would be taken from them, Michael, right? And they would be put in protective custody. So Nancy says real Donald Trump is seeking to codify child abuse, plain and simple. His family incarceration plan would rip away basic protections for children and violate every standard of morality. It will be swiftly defeated in the courts. And, what would happen if Donald Trump got his way, these children would be in licensed facilities, living better than they'd lived in their own country. Alan said the government wants to be looked at as a god. Absolutely, Alan. Demented Gummy Bear said Dems are important. Dems are importing their voter base. They are not going to do a thing to slow or stop the problem. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And Alan said people give them that power. Michael said rip away. What a joke. Yeah. Well, Nancy's a joke, and Nancy's becoming more and more of a joke. And what Nancy is doing, and the quote unquote power that she has, is definitely a joke these days. Now, speaking of jokes, somebody else had to weigh in on this, and I was surprised to see this person even saying anything, but here you go. Hillary Clinton had to speak up and speak out. She said in the last 24 hours, the administration has announced they will seek the power to detain immigrant children indefinitely. They won't provide flu shots to families in detention. And 6 children have already died, 3 in part from the flu. This is a recipe for more tragedy. Now, I don't know. I think if I were involved in Haiti in any way and the debacle that happened in Haiti, I probably wouldn't be casting any stones. Just saying. But then again, thankfully, I'm not Hillary Clinton. So I think that's probably, that's all you need to say is that, that's what Hillary does. But anyway, I would have thought by now she would be in hiding with all that's going on against her. But apparently this is her way of saying, I'm not guilty, so I'm out here. See? So anyway, I know flu shots. I know, Barbara. They want to, if they're there a couple of days. I heard some Democrats speaking out and saying, if these kids are held in shelters and it's pretty close quarters and everything else, and if they're going to be there a day or two, they should give them flu shots. It's scary because of what we all know are in flu shots and the controversy in flu shots. And what about TB? What about other things that are probably more important? But anyway, I don't know. I just, that was something new. And they're saying, flu shots, that's not that expensive. Just here's some breaking news that just came out, just so that you know. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is going to be joining Fox News as a contributor. So good for her. Good position for her. Hopefully she'll take over Sean Spicer's position there even. Barbara said, then panic, I would not find you, then saw the book. Good. The wall can't be finished soon enough. Exactly, Demented Gummy Bear. I did see a video of people trying to cross over the wall, and they couldn't do it. This, I believe, was in California where that wall was that they were trying to cross, and they couldn't do it. Kathy Arvin on YouTube said they're playing the never had a flu shot, never will. Kathy, looking at your last name, are you related to a man named Roy Arvin? Just a question. If you are, fine, let me know, because I knew a guy named Roy Arvin. Alan said they're playing the untouchable role, then the parents will sue for giving shots. Exactly. Yep, Bob says Trump. No, absolutely. They will restrict her opinions, Harley said. I missed that woman, talking about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Well, now you're going to be seeing her on Fox News. So build that wall, Bob said. Yes, great news for Sarah Huckabee. Yes, absolutely. Good job for her. And again, hopefully she'll take Sean Spicer's place. Once again, just take Sean Spicer's place. All right. Now, I wanted to show you yesterday, the president came out and he spoke about the wanting to buy Greenland, and he was pretty upset with the Danish prime minister. And let me see if I can bring that up for you and roll that one. And here's what he had to say.
About selling Greenland?
No, Denmark, I looked forward to going, but I thought that the prime minister's statement that it was absurd, it was an absurd idea, it was nasty. I thought it was an inappropriate statement. All she had to do is say, no, we wouldn't be interested, but we can't treat the United States of America the way they treated us under President Obama. I thought it was a very not nice way of saying something. They could have told me no. This is something that's been discussed for many years. Harry Truman had the idea of Greenland. I had the idea. Other people have had the idea. It goes back into the early 1900s. But Harry Truman very strongly thought it was a good idea. I think it's a good idea because Denmark is losing $700 million a year with it. It doesn't do them any good, but all they had to do is say, no, we'd rather not do that, or we'd rather not talk about it. Don't say what an absurd idea that is, because she's not talking to me. Excuse me. She's not talking to me. She's talking to the United States of America. You don't talk to the United States that way, at least under me. Now, President Obama, when they wouldn't let him land in the Philippines, when they treated him so badly at so many places, the Philippines is one that comes to mind. That's different. That's different. They can treat him any way they want to. That's up to him. But they can't treat the United States with a statement, how absurd.
Don't you love that? A president who actually speaks out and defends the United States. I just love that. Watching that yesterday was just so great to see somebody to say, you know, you can do that under Obama and you may want to treat the United States that way, but you're not going to treat the United States that way under me. So that's kind of a new tone for him, not for him to take, but for an actual president to take. So I was really glad to see that. And it is. It's always good to see that. Aussie Nick said a fair point. I would vote for her. Talking about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Good. Cully said good pink slip for Juan or Donna. I would love that, Cully. Wouldn't that be great? That would be great. News flash. Jesus wasn't vaccinated, Gummy Bear said. And Harley Guy was saying that you were considering you thought she was considering a run for Arkansas, I believe it is. And, you know, who knows? Maybe she will be, and maybe this is why getting on Fox to give her more exposure. Yuri said, love President Trump. And Clara said, yay, I found you. He's mad about something else after they talked. The press acts like no one ever talked about it, Barbara said. Yeah, and Harley Guy said, it's called respect. Yeah, and that's what the president demands and what they really don't want to give him, you know. So whether it's a foreign country or a reporter who is obnoxious, like the guy from NBC, Peter Alexander, you know, he does demand respect. All right, now I want to talk to you a little bit about something that came out yesterday, and this is with Judicial Watch. And let me bring this up here. This is something that they have found. They said, breaking. Judicial Watch announced that a federal court ordered a hearing for August 22nd, that's today, on the Clinton email issue. U.S. District Court judge ordered Obama administration senior State Department officials, lawyers, and Clinton aides to be deposed or answer written questions under oath. Hey, Margie. So that is a really good step forward. Now, there is more. Let me give you the other tweets that came out as well. Let's see here. The other tweet is, the court ruled that the Clinton email system was one of the gravest modern offenses to government transparency. No kidding. We all need to support Judicial Watch. They carry a large load. Thank you, Grateful Michael. Thank you so much for Super Hearts. Yeah, they Judicial Watch is amazing, and we need Judicial Watch. They do the job. They do sometimes things that even the Jay Sekulo's group doesn't do. So, all right, and now there's one final tweet that they had here for Judicial Watch, and it says, Judicial Watch has recently gathered troubling new evidence about the Clinton email scandal, and we hope the court will grant us additional discovery to get more facts. Wow. You know, that's pretty telling right there. And let's see, you know, some of the things that they have found. Let me read some of them to you. But Susan, I heard another court issued an injunction against it. I don't know. This came out yesterday. If it did, it was overnight, Harley. So I don't know. I haven't seen anything new. I mean, you may want to go to Judicial Watch and see if anything new came out, but I haven't seen anything on that. John Hackett, the former director for Information Programs and Services, which handles records management at the State Department, testified under oath that he had raised concerns that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's staff may have culled out 30,000 of the Secretary's personal emails without following strict National Archive standards. He also revealed that hold on one second, that there was interference with the formal FOIA review process related to the classification of the Clinton Benghazi related emails. Heather Samuelson, Clinton's White House liaison at the State Department and later Clinton's personal attorney, admitted under oath that she was granted immunity by the Department of Justice in June 2016. Vicky said, I heard on the news that China has a copy of all her emails. Yes, that's what I heard, because that's exactly how it was set up. You know, and what does that say? You know, one has to ask themselves, did she intentionally send those emails to China? I know what my answer, you know, tends to be. If you know they're going there, you're sending them there, you're getting money from China, getting other things from China. You know, I don't understand why many of these people are not in prison already. But anyway, I didn't say that, Hillary. I'm sorry. I was talking about somebody else. Justin Cooper, former aide to President Bill Clinton and the Clinton Foundation employee who registered the domain name of the unsecure ClintonEmail.com server that Clinton used while serving as Secretary of State, testified he worked with Huma Abedin, Clinton's deputy chief of staff, to create the non-government email system. In the interrogatory responses of Bill Priestap, assistant director of the FBI counterintelligence, he stated that the agency found Clinton emails in the Obama White House, specifically the executive office of the president. I thought Obama knew nothing. Vicky said, I hope the people giving a deposition have good insurance policies. Yes. Have you heard about the 5 Eyes? No, Harley, I don't think I have. Aussie Nick said actually was an auto forward to a domain email set up under Carter Heavy Industries by an IT. Demented Gummy Bear said she copied those emails to a dummy address linked to the Chinese government. Yep. Who was responsible for her security, Janice said. Oh, everyone, I'm sure, Janice. In the FBI, Uma, and a bunch of other people. Brendan Clapper. Oh, did I say that? It was similar to a Chinese state company, but IT guy claimed he just set it up as a random name. Yeah. Let's see. Jake Sullivan, Clinton's senior advisor and deputy chief of staff when she was Secretary of State, testified that both he and Clinton used her unsecured non-government email system to conduct official State Department business. And that's probably who you're talking about. You know, this Jake guy could be. Eric Boswell, former Assistant Secretary of State for Diplomatic Security during Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State, testified that Clinton was warned twice about using unsecured BlackBerries and personal emails to transmit classified information. And if this all takes place, I just have a little advice for the judge. Don't go jogging alone. That would be my advice for you. So, I'm researching. I am researching it. You can Google it. It is stunning. Yeah. Well, and hopefully, that the judge is going to allow this information to come out, because it needs to. And seriously, this is, if it's found out, if it's discovered that she did this purposefully, and we can figure that out and find that out, she should be tried for treason. I don't know what we're waiting for. I know that it would be bad for our country. So is 2 years of Russia, and all the other BS that's going on that never amounts to anything. So, unbelievable. Now, I'm going to bring up for you some more that President Trump said yesterday. He had a lot to say when he was ready to get on board. And a lot of people are, continuing to have questions about, what is President Trump going to do when it comes to background checks. So let's
Are we the first candy to make something
thin?
thin?
If I can get this up. There we go.
We're working with Republicans. We already have very strong background checks, but we're going to be filling in some of the loopholes, as we call them, at the border. And speaking about at the border, it would be really nice if the Democrats would indeed fix the loopholes, because it would be really nice. But despite that, I want to thank Mexico. They have 26,000 soldiers at our border, and they're really stopping people from coming in. So what happens is, with background checks, we're dealing with Democrats, we're dealing with Republicans, we're dealing with the NRA, we're dealing with gun owners, we're dealing with everybody. And I think we're going to have something, hopefully, that's meaningful.
Sir, are you caving to the NRA?
So you can see that he is considering everybody and everything. A lot of people, I'm continuing to hear this from the right, and I can't tell you how upset it makes me hear from the right, really concerned about what the president's going to do and already talking down about it. And he hasn't even done anything, and they've already tried and convicted him in the court of public opinion again about what he's going to do in regards to background checks. He's going to bring the red flag law. They're already convinced. I heard the globalists want to start a recession to get Trump out. Have you heard the same? I just know that a recession, anybody who can start the recession, no matter who they are, rhinos, globalists, elitists, they're all kind of the same, would probably love that so that they could make it look bad for President Trump. But back to what I was saying, can we at least wait to hear what the president is going to do before we go out, start talking poorly about him, giving the left, once again, giving them reason to use ammunition against us and try to turn people around. Back from vacation, missed your broadcast. Well, Eleni, I'm so glad that you are back. Happy vacation. I hope it was great. So, I mean, can we just wait? He is talking about the weaknesses in the background check. I don't know what it's going to be, what he might be able to fix. Gun owners say it's a slippery slope. Some people are on the right again, are getting way ahead of themselves, and they're even starting this once again, this talk about Ivanka. Ivanka. Oh, Ivanka is really bad for the president. She's got a lot of power. She's this, she's that. Well, I've heard that from Periscope pundits and everybody else on the right that I can think of, not in here, but other people who have basically said, that Ivanka, you got to watch her. She's going to slip something in. It's going to be bad. So far, the only thing that Ivanka has done is talk to him about helping women in employment, and that's what he's listened to. She has been with him for a long time. He has a mind of his own. He thinks for himself, and I don't understand why people can't get that. Vacation 30 years late, but better than never, Lainey said. I hear ya. Stock market manipulation is nothing new. Remember, George Soros is involved. Exactly, Gummy Bear. Exactly. So it wouldn't surprise me. And I like the fact that President Trump's talking about payroll, tax cuts, maybe to help that in case they try to do something. So, but again, my God, can we just stop talking about Ivanka Trump? And yes, he did talk about, I think I look great on your new iPhone 6S Plus. Great, Eleni. He did talk about mental illness. He's talked about that over and over again. Trump will not sign anything bad on guns. Quit worrying. I know, Tim. I just wish they would. Nope, she works hard for employment and more training. Exactly, Barbara. That's her role. He likes having her around. He had her around in business. He's having her around in the presidency. I'm fine with it. He himself was once a Democrat. If you're afraid of Ivanka Trump, you ought to be afraid of the fact that he was a Democrat at one time. I'm not afraid of that. I think he understands what's going on, and if he does something that I don't like at that time, then I'll say something. But ahead of time, it's like, come on. Rick said people need to stop drinking the Dems Kool-Aid. Dems are Jim Jones reincarnated. I just wish people would wait until something actually happens, if it happens, rather than making stuff up and making people crazy with it. Now, one of the other things that President Trump did talk about yesterday was, and I don't know how far he can go with this, he signing an executive order to end birthright citizenship. That's going to be very difficult. That's going to be, again, something else that's going to go to the court if he does. We will never see concealed carry. I don't think so. No, I don't think so either, Harley. I heard a who's who financial stuff say, if recession comes, it will be 1 year from now during elections. Yeah, of course, Barbara. And that's what they want. So President Trump on Wednesday said his administration is once again seriously considering an executive order to end birthright citizenship months after several lawmakers cast doubt on his ability to take such actions. Again, goes against the Constitution in a lot of ways. I think you'd have to have an amendment to the Constitution. We're looking at that very seriously, Trump told reporters as he left the White House for Kentucky. Birthright citizenship, where you have a baby on your land, walk over the border, have a baby, congratulations. The baby's now a U.S. citizen. I don't like it. I believe birthright citizenship is in the Constitution. Yes, is it Maya? Maya shines? It is. And that's why this executive order, you would have to have an amendment to the Constitution. And I don't think that was ever meant to be that way necessarily in the Constitution, but that's the way it ended up. Husband calling, okay, Kathy, see you tomorrow. You have a great day too. So anyway, we'll see what happens on that. Again, I don't think he would be successful on that. And I think when we were talking about with the Flores settlement, that's an uphill battle. So don't expect any of that overnight to just take care of itself with the children and unaccompanied and accompanied minors, because he's going to be sued by everybody on that, and that's going to take a very long time. That Flores settlement agreement was a 1997 agreement. It took a long time to reach that agreement, and they're certainly not wanting to just terminate that agreement. And that's going to be difficult, and there's court precedent for it and everything else. All right. So let's go on to a different subject. This is a horrifying, I should say, a story out of Boca Raton that I wanted you to hear. And let me get this up, and we'll play this, and you can hear this. That's not the story. Robin. Try again. Here we go.
An absolute horror inside an elderly woman's home when police say a delivery man suddenly goes out of control. The victim was found inside her home, beaten and burned with some sort of liquid chemical.
CBS 4's Amber Diaz is live for us in Boca Raton with the details of the police investigation. Amber?
Francis and Elliot, it's such a tragic story this afternoon out here in Boca Raton. We finally learned the identity of this woman. We've learned she's a longtime Florida Atlantic University librarian. Her name was Evelyn Udell. She worked there for a number of years. We also learned that it was this delivery company that these men were working for, contracted by Best Buy. It was their third delivery of the day that went terribly wrong.
He'll be held no bond on count one, which is a life felony.
21-year-old Jorge Dupre Lachazo was being charged with the murder of an elderly woman in Boca Raton. According to the probable cause affidavit, the homicide happened yesterday morning inside a home at the Colonnade at Glen Oaks. Investigators say Lachazo and a co-worker delivered and installed a washer and dryer. Both men worked for JB Home Delivery, who was contracted to deliver for Best Buy. Once they were done with the installation, investigators say Lachazo's co-worker walked outside to make a call while the 21-year-old stayed behind to answer questions. Once his co-worker heard screams coming from the house, he ran inside and saw blood in the victim lying on the laundry room floor. Lachazo's co-worker called police and the 21-year-old took off in the truck. He was caught by Boca Raton police, who spotted him leaving the neighborhood. Richard Ozelli says there's been discussions on making the Colonnade at Glen Oaks a gated community. With too many deliveries at all times, he wants people to be identified when they come in.
To have a gated community, then everyone is registered when they come in, so that this individual that performed this deed knows that they're of record. So there's no chance of absconding and running away and fleeing and being successful in it.
While JB Home Delivery has not commented on the incident, the CEO of Best Buy issued the following statement. It reads in part, "One of our customers in the Boca Raton, Florida area was tragically attacked yesterday and has since passed away. We are profoundly sorry and offer our deepest sympathies to her family. Out of respect for them, we have closed our Boca Raton store today. For more than 20 years, millions of Americans have trusted us to come into their homes, and on days like this, I am fully aware of how precious that trust is and how vital it is that we do everything in our power to earn it."
I mean, can you believe that? I just saw that Cully said that Boca Raton is very close to where he is. He was a no, he wasn't a UPS guy, Danielle. He was contracted with somebody else to install stuff with with Best Buy. That's an upper class town, all in all. Barbara said, too many deliveries. Nick said, huh? Can you imagine what could have happened? What the woman said that made this guy go off? Or maybe she didn't say any or do anything. Maybe this guy just he was admitted to using drugs. They said. So, my gosh, lawsuit coming. Oh, for sure. Yeah, wrongful death and everything else. And that company, they better have a lot of insurance. Close to home for me too. Gosh, Danelle said, why did he do it? We don't know, Maya. He did, according to the story, it said that he admitted that he was on cocaine and some other drugs. So I don't know. But I mean, it's scary. All I can say. New UPS tosses it on the porch and runs. Yeah, no, UPS tosses it on the porch and runs. Barbara said, I see gated. Cortez should be down there to protest soon. Exactly, Alan. Danielle said, so it was terrible. Tim said he was high on dope and crack. Yep, Tim. I know Marlene said, poor lady. How old was the lady? 76, Danielle. So this retired librarian calls and wants to get a new washer and dryer, and because she did, this guy kills her, allegedly. That's sadly stupid, Barbara said. Yep. So anyway, really blame game again. Yeah, it's his fault. That's who's. I mean, whoever killed her, that's it's that person's fault. Now there's some more information coming out about the Border Patrol that we're finding out. And let me try to get that up for you. We'll listen to this, and I'll be right back.
A federal law has allowed violent criminals to walk free. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge is live at the Justice Department with more on this story. Catherine.
Thanks, Melissa, and good afternoon. In the 7-page letter to the president obtained by Fox News, the Office of Special Counsel said Customs and Border Protection had failed to follow federal law, compromise public safety, and let violent offenders walk free. The letter also sent to congressional oversight committees contains the strongest possible language rebuking the department for also defending its actions over the last decade. It reads in part, quote, the agency's noncompliance with the law has allowed subjects subsequently accused of violent crimes, including homicide and sexual assault, to elude detection even when detained multiple times by Customs and Border Protection. This is an unacceptable dereliction of the agency's law enforcement mandate. Fox News first profiled the whistleblowers behind this complaint last month. Under the law, CBP was required to collect DNA from individuals in its custody to be run against FBI violent crimes databases so that they can confirm if the migrants are connected to open sexual assault and murder cases, among others. This program is separate and distinct from DNA collection designed to establish family connections among migrants. This DNA screening for violent offenders was put on hold by the Obama administration in around 2009. Then Secretary Napolitano said the department had resource issues, and then Attorney General Eric Holder agreed. But special counsel investigators have sided with the whistleblowers that this exception was never meant to be permanent, especially not for a decade.
We have a great tool that was mandated by and approved by Congress as a law, and we're not using it.
U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, and illegal aliens in this country are and have been harmed due to our agency not collecting DNA.
Earlier today, we asked Acting Secretary McAleenan for comment, but he declined, citing a very tight schedule. We're reaching out for additional comment from CBP. The Office of Special Counsel wants DHS to immediately begin implementing this DNA screening for violent offenders that should have began, and this is important, a decade ago under the last administration, Melissa.
Well, isn't that exciting? So for 10 years, people have been let go weren't checked for anything, weren't checked for past crimes, background checks. There you go, Barbara. Oh my gosh. Yep. What wait wording migrants those here to work legally. I don't know what that green card, Barbara said. Yeah, I mean, but to know that we've been doing this for 10 years and nobody was doing anything about it. The DA was, I mean, not the DA, but the Border Patrol wasn't doing anything about it. Miracle worker just left my home. I'm back online, Robin said. Well, that's good. That's good. I wanted to try to find a story here that I can't. Oh my gosh. There's a new thing in California now. There's obviously haven't gotten enough skilled people working for CBP. Well, no, Maya, I don't think so. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that under the Obama administration, they just didn't want it done, and they didn't do it, and it kind of fell through the cracks. What will we find out next? Janice, I don't think we want to know. Honestly, at this point, I don't think we want to know. But what I wanted to tell you, and I can't find the exact wording. I was kind of looking for it. In California now, I guess we're all federal, you know, whatever they do with that. They're going to, oh man, where is it? You can't say convict anymore. You have to say something new other than convict, and it's something like, I don't know, judicial. I don't remember what it is. Like judicial involvement or something like. Oh, here we go. San Francisco board rebrands convicted felon as justice involved person. Oh, my head is going to explode. Justice involved person. So it's no longer acceptable to say a convict or a criminal, but a justice involved person. So we're going to, that's in San Francisco, that's in, California. I heard that at the upcoming Democratic debate, no candidate has 40%, they will draft Michelle Obama. Have you heard anything about that? They always keep talking about bringing Michelle in. I have no idea, Vicki. Nobody knows if that's going to happen or not. She's said before she doesn't want to do it. Marlene said legally challenged. I know. Alan said that was so stupid. Is that real? Yes, Michael. Unfortunately, it is real. I know, Karen. It is. It's like all you can do is slap your head. They're out of control. Dee said yes. How about major sinner? Well, Rick, that would be too real. We can't do that. I just said my head was going to explode when you did. I know, Eleni. That isn't even half. I haven't even gotten to what other things California did. And I'm telling you, you got to watch out. When it starts in California, it'll come across the nation. I promise you it will. Barbara said, I'm still back on lady with new machine getting killed. Going to have to carry a gun at home. Sorry. Well, it's true. Like Coley was saying a minute ago that he had people come to his house to install something for Home Depot. You buy something at Home Depot, you get contractors that come in. Yeah, Robin, you have to see it. Oh my gosh. So, you're not safe when these people come in. You don't know who they are. They obviously don't know who they are. And unfortunately, this 76-year-old now is dead. I can't even imagine what he did to her. And maybe I don't want to imagine. So, people are, it's just getting crazier and crazier. I don't think Barack's ego would let his wife run for POTUS. It could be, Margie. It could very well be. And, why would you want to be president if you've already had one stint in the White House? Why do you want to come back in when you can jet set around the world? Because now you are a multi-millionaire. Doesn't make sense. I mean, I could see President Trump and doing what he does, one time, president of the United States. But to come back in and have, Barack be the first gentleman instead of president, yeah, ego may not allow that. Hey, Monica. She has stated several times she will never run for public office, Maya said. Yep. Well, it seems we would need a lot more workers for DNA tests on a lot of people. Cully said home deliveries only when I'm at home. Exactly, Cully. We're a little tougher in New Jersey, Dee said, to become king. Yeah, well, I still think that one day that Barack might become the head of the UN. I think that's where he really would want to go. If he wants to work again, that's what he would like to do. Or if they got rid of the, presidency altogether, and like you said, Barbara, you could become king. They have tried everyone else, Janice said. I know. And poor Biden's wife, you gotta have to just swallow it. He's not the best guy. I mean, my gosh. And that's his wife saying those things. He would really be president, Barbara said. So he could check out 4 years in the first dude's office and organize the White House charity events, Nick said. I thought the Obamas are separated. Oh, no. Monica, they're not separated. They're living their lives like the Clintons do. I mean, they do go on trips together and all that. Who knows what these people do? Even the Clintons. Don't count the Obamas out. Remember, he lied to us for 8 years already. Yes, Karen, I know. Please, I couldn't forget that. Now, I wanted to switch gears just a little bit. This is, I don't know if you remember, this is Pastor Andrew Brunson. And he was held prisoner in Turkey for 2 years. And he's the person that President Trump helped get out of, freed from Turkey. And I want to tell you a little bit about what he's been saying lately. And for all of you Christians, please perk your ears up at this point. Do you agree on everything the president is doing? Retta Moore, is it Rita, whatever you're... I don't agree with anybody 100% on anything. And I don't agree with you, Retta Moore, on 100% anything. Because people are imperfect. Hey, Robert Brandt, how are you? Hey, Susan Sarge here salutes my friend. Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. Barbara says yes, and Margie saw they just bought a multi-million-dollar mansion in Martha's Vineyard. Obama, as first dude, could turn the East Wing into illegal housing plus a mosque. There you go. Yeah, I don't agree with everything anybody does because men are imperfect, and so are women, just in case you're being politically correct. I agree with a lot of what he's doing. I think he is the best president we have ever had, and that includes Ronald Reagan, who I dearly love. They released their first Netflix documentary, American Factory. It's actually pretty good, Maya said. Oh, well, I'll never know that. So Trump is not perfect either. You're not perfect, Trump. I just said that, Retta Moore. So I don't know, Retta Moore, if you have a Periscope on your own, I can come in there and troll you later if you'd like, but right now we're going to move on. So here we go. So anyway, Pastor Brunson is the evangelical Presbyterian missionary to Turkey who spent 2 years in a Turkish prison. He was falsely accused of being part of a failed coup attempt against Erdogan. Here's what the Washington Examiner says that Brunson has been saying. This came out in July, and I didn't see it until the other day. So I did want to bring it to your attention. And as I said, all the believers really need to listen up on this. Hey, Debbie, good to see you. He said, first of all, I think it's coming to the United States. What is he talking about? He's talking about persecution. First of all, I think it's coming to the United States that there will be persecution. I was isolated for a few years, and coming back to the States was almost like coming back to a different country in many ways. And I'm astounded at the speed with which I think the U.S. is imploding. So, there's a lot of people who say, oh, Christians aren't being persecuted. And here is a man who has spent 2 years in a Turkish prison, comes back to the United States and says, something's wrong here. I see the huge change. So if he sees a huge change in 2 years' time, imagine the things that, we don't see, that we're unaware of because we're in it every day. And so this man comes back, and it's almost like for him stepping back into a different world. I said there are a number of issues where it seems that it's no longer enough for a person of faith to get along with or to serve or to treat well someone they disagree with. And I think that the political business, media, celebrity class, and also academia, it seems that there's much more of a demand that people approve of, that they validate, that they celebrate things that they actually disagree with. We've seen that. Alan said, yep, good word to describe. It's imploding. It is here on an individual basis already, Janice says. Is this a picture of Pastor Brunson? Yes, it is, Teresa. And Danielle said he's right. You know, absolutely. And so he said, persecution is nothing new. This thing is that we in the West have not experienced persecution very much. It's very unusual for a Westerner to be arrested for his faith. So we haven't experienced it, but I think we are going to. I think it's coming to this country. And again, that's from a man who spent 2 years in a Turkish prison who's saying those type of things. The only people who don't believe Christians are persecuted are lukewarm and atheists. There you go, Eleni. Barack Obama was the beginning of the change, Teresa said. Maya said, is he talking about the political and cultural climate? I agree there's a big divide over the last couple of years. Yeah, I think he's talking about, Maya, everything in general. That, you know, one of the things that we're seeing in social media and that we're seeing from the left is that it's not only okay for you now to be tolerant, you have to accept and maybe go as far as do it yourself, or it's not, you know, you're not going to be accepted. So in other words, if there's a left agenda, a left policy, it's not enough for you to say, okay, you live your life, I'll live mine. Now it's, you have to become just like me and live just like I do, or I'm not going to accept it. And I'm going to, I don't know, come after you for it. You know, whatever the case may be. And so he's seeing that. And I think we're seeing that. Used to be tolerance was just okay. Now you've got to accept it, even if it goes against your Christian principles from the Bible. Yes, because you have a Democrat for governors making unjust laws against Christians, Danielle said. I remember when Catholics would boycott offensive entertainment. Dalamy said, yes, the only people who don't believe... Okay, I think I read that, sorry. Where would we be now if Hillary had won? I don't even want to think about that, Janice. Hopefully things will change, and it's going to start with Omar and Tlaib being booted out, Karen said. I can feel it. This isn't the same America, but God. Absolutely, Teresa. This isn't the same America. It's certainly not the same America that many of us grew up in and what we remember. So, yeah, we need to... This is, again, one more reason why we have the prayer room, the 24/7 prayer room. At SusanKnowles.com, go to sign-ups, sign up, pray, and help us. America became a spoiled brat under Obama, and when Trump came in as a strict dad, it rebelled. Good analogy there, Monica. Very good. Now, I want to take you to another topic, because I want to get last couple ones that I have. This was what happened on a France airline. So let me get this up and bring it to you quickly here.
nous passe le médecin, c'est bon. Ouais, on est passé au match. Je sais pas, on va le faire. Qu'est-ce qu'on va passer? D'accord, bon, c'est parti. Alors attendez. Allez.
So there you have it. He finished praying. He didn't like the fact that the guy interrupted him, I suppose, and he just punched him in the face right there. You can see that. Plane was rerouted, delayed in Nice, France, where he resisted arrest, yelling Allahu Akbar. And there you go. This was reportedly a Muslim who was praying in the middle of the aisle, right where the flight attendants were. He was blocking anybody from going to the bathroom or any place else. They couldn't go. It couldn't help passengers. And he wanted to pray there. And when he finished, he got up. And as you saw on the video, certainly looks like he punched the flight attendant right in the face. I can't see on my phone. Oh, well, was it a Muslim punching? Yes. Supposedly, that's what Jihad Watch reported. So that he did his prayer in the like set in the aisle, and then when he got finished, he punched the guy in the face. So there you go. Just another day. Just another day. Now, one of the things that's been happening, I guess, we have to stick together even if we don't particularly like one another. Yeah, and Teresa, we do. And, you know, again, one of the things that we also need to quit doing is judging the president before he even makes a move. I think that would help a lot. Tell him he's praying in the wrong direction, Cully said. No doubt it was a Muslim. Well, that's what's reported. That's what the Jihad Watch reported. Hello, snack bar. Yep, that's it. They are praising a soft pagan god that was created by the Roman Empire, Jennifer said. Blanket wiggle alert. Barbara said, yes, Gracie, moving around. Okay, so in another story I wanted to tell you about, this is a photo of Angela Merkel from Germany and the German Interior Minister Horst Seehofer. And I'm showing you this because there are, like, now get this, these people were like, oh, we have to get out, we're getting, Syria is just horrible, we're getting tortured, we need to find shelter, we're a refugee, we need to go to Germany, right? So they go to Germany, and now there are Syrian refugees in Germany that are going to Syria on a holiday. They're like, hey, we need to get away from Germany. Unfortunately, I was unable to go on a holiday to Syria because something very important got in the way, and I hope to catch up very soon during the holidays. Germany is stressful, and you need some type of break. So give me a break. So what Germany has said, what they're going to do, is that anybody in Germany who is a Syrian refugee who goes to Syria for any reason, holiday or otherwise, they are going to take away their Syrian refugee status. And I'm hoping that means they can't get back in the country, but that's what I'm thinking. Hey, Alexis, I mean, can you believe? I'm sure that people here, some of these people wish they could return home too. Hey, Pamela. Let's see, what were you saying? Turn the plane the other way, Pamela said. I was in Turkey many times. I don't see Muslims praying on the streets. They do that just to insult people, Yuri said. She did not learn the first time when they allowed all these people in and they enslaved the people of Germany, Jennifer said. Yeah, I guess they're learning a little bit now, but not very much. Now, here's another story I want to get to. I got two more if we can get to it quickly. This is Governor Gavin Newsom, the dreaded Newsom from California. He just signed a new bill again, this would go against police officers, really. It's called the Use of Force Bill, and they are only to use deadly force as necessary. We already know that, right? Police already know that, but this is going to be a law that is going to make darn sure that they use anything and everything else before that. So I guess in the past, if a felon was running away, maybe a dangerous felon, right, the police could shoot that person. Now that will no longer be allowed. So if you're a felon, come to California, just practice run away from the police, and you're going to be fined. Now, last year in California, 146 fatalities happened. That was down 26 from 2017. But there is this new law that is in place. Unbelievable. Now, I've got one more story. I don't know if you guys can hold on just for a second, but this is important. This happened yesterday in California. And here we go. Let me roll this for you.
Police in California confiscating several weapons from from a hotel employee they say threatened to kill his co-workers. Long Beach police arresting 37-year-old Rodolfo Montoya, a cook at a nearby Marriott hotel. A concerned co-worker tipping off police claiming Montoya was threatening violence against several hotel employees as well as guests. Then police brought Montoya in, confiscating an assault rifle, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and high-velocity magazines from his home.
Suspect Montoya had clear plans, intent, and the means to carry out an act of violence that may have resulted in a mass casualty incident.
Now, police say they believe Montoya made his threats after becoming upset over a human resources matter.
So there you go. There was almost a mass shooting, could have been. It was thwarted because the alleged guy, shooter almost, was told his coworker, I'm going in detail what they are going to do. The coworker went and told the police. See, red flag laws, although we have them, that was not a red flag law. That was not under red flag law, because that only applies to family members and people that you live with. And so that person, because he was astute and a good person, went to the police, told the police, and it was prevented. So again, one more reason why you don't need red flag laws. And that was in Long Beach, California. And that was not talked about on the news. I didn't hear anything. So Maya said, who needs that much weaponry? In California, I don't think you could even have that much weaponry. They arrested another white supremacist in New Jersey recently. It's an epidemic. And what makes you think he's a white supremacist? It could just be somebody going off the rails. So anyway, all right, I know we're running a little late, so I'll let you go. If you would, please, if you will, retweet this, share my article, and I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless.